Donald Trump says he has nothing to do with Project 2025. But the truth is, he's lying.
And we saw a couple of Truth Social posts in the last week by Donald Trump denouncing this group and saying he doesn't know whoever's running it and knows no one behind it. Now, obviously, that's not true, though. There are plenty of people, former higher-level White House staffers across all branches of government who wrote chapters in this book. They are definitely Trump-aligned people.
While Trump publicly denies any connection, his allies have been working behind the scenes to create this dangerous plan, a 920-page blueprint to be exact. This document isn't just some vague political agenda. This is a step-by-step plan to take over the U.S. government. And it was crafted by some of the same people who shaped Trump's presidency. Stephen Moore was one of those people, and he is the co-author of Project 2025. Moore isn't just an outsider. He was called personally by Trump to help build his economic policies back in 2016.
So, Steve, before we get into the numbers, how did Donald Trump approach you about helping him?
Well, we had gotten some word from his campaign that they wanted some improvements in the tax system. And look, it's a great tax system. He's proposing, Deirdre, the biggest tax cuts since Ronald Reagan was in office, and asked us for some advice about how you might tweak this plan.
But this isn't just about taxes anymore. It's about control, complete control. Behind Project 2025 is the Heritage Foundation, a group that has stood by Trump since day one. Trump himself even praised them publicly.
Our country is going to hell. The critical job of institutions such as Heritage is to lay the groundwork, and Heritage does such an incredible job at that.
Yet now, he wants you to believe he doesn't know anything about the plan?
Heritage Foundation has been fighting side by side with this president and this administration since day one.
And those were the words of Trump's former vice president, Mike Pence. The truth is, Trump's fingerprints are all over this plan. Project 2025 is designed to hand him even more power than he ever had. And if he wins in 2024, this plan goes into action immediately. In this video, we'll break down the key players behind Project 2025, expose the dangerous agenda, and explain why it should terrify anyone who cares about democracy. Chapter 1, The Old Puppet Master. Behind Project 2025 lies an agenda that could reshape America forever. It's not just a political plan. It's a 920-page blueprint designed to take control of the U.S. government, transforming the country into something unrecognizable. And at the heart of this scheme is one of the most powerful and dangerous organizations in American politics, the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation is the puppet master behind Trump's most extreme policies. Founded in 1973, they've grown into a political juggernaut, shaping the policies of Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, and now they're laying the groundwork for Donald Trump's potential return. For decades, they've masterminded some of the most conservative policies in modern U.S. history. When Trump came into power, he didn't rely solely on his advisors. He turned to Heritage. This organization was influential in providing Trump with a list of Supreme Court nominees that led to the appointments of Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. These three justices now sit at the center of the most conservative Supreme Court in recent history. Heritage isn't just influential, they're dangerous. They shape the courts, the laws, and the future. Heritage's influence goes beyond Trump's Supreme Court picks. Their earlier efforts, like providing Reagan with a guidebook that led to the rollback of 60% of federal regulations, pale in comparison to what they have planned for 2025. Now with Project 2025, they've crafted their most ambitious and terrifying plan yet, a strategy not just to influence policy, but to dominate the entire U.S. government. This plan is designed to control every aspect of governance, transforming it into a machine that serves one purpose, their conservative revolution. Chapter 2, The Foundation. At the core of Project 2025 lies its foundation, a calculated, ruthless plan to reshape America from the inside out. The four pillars of this plan form the base, supporting a strategy to systematically take over the government. These pillars aren't just ideas, they are the framework for a radical transformation of America. First, the policy agenda is the driving force behind Project 2025's mission to dismantle democracy. This isn't about small reforms, it's about reversing decades of progress by eliminating environmental protections, criminalizing abortion, and rolling back LGBTQ rights. These changes represent more than just policy shifts. They are radical steps designed to push America back into a regressive era. Climate change protections will be eliminated, women's rights will be decimated, and protections for LGBTQ individuals will be erased. Under the guise of traditional values, This pillar guts individual freedoms and replaces them with an authoritarian conservative regime. Second, the personnel database further strengthens this control. The Heritage Foundation has created a massive, ideologically driven database of pre-vetted individuals. Think of it as a conservative-only LinkedIn. But it's not just a networking tool. It's a method to flood key government positions with loyalists who will follow Project 2025's orders without question. If Trump wins the 2024 election, these individuals won't just be waiting for their turn, they will be placed in power immediately. Thousands of civil servants who don't align with their conservative values will be fired, replaced by loyalists whose sole loyalty lies with Trump and the Project 2025 agenda. This plan turns the federal workforce into a weapon, ensuring that the government serves only the conservative cause. Third, to ensure that these loyalists are fully aligned, Project 2025 includes an online training academy designed to indoctrinate every recruit. This academy doesn't just teach the basics of government operation, it molds its recruits to fit the vision of the Heritage Foundation and its conservative ideology. There is no room for dissent or differing opinions. Every appointee will be trained to implement Project 2025's radical agenda without hesitation. From bending regulations to dismantling entire departments, these bureaucrats will be trained to tear the government apart from within, fully equipped to carry out a complete conservative takeover. Finally, the 180-day playbook is perhaps the most terrifying pillar of Project 2025. This step-by-step guide lays out a rapid plan to dismantle key government agencies within the first 6 months of a conservative president taking office. The Department of Education will be abolished, the Department of Homeland Security will be gutted, and the FBI will be restructured into a tool for political revenge. By the time anyone realizes what's happening, it will be too late. This isn't just about passing new policies, it's about a rapid, calculated coup that disguises itself as governance. The breakneck speed of the takeover ensures there will be no time for resistance, granting Trump and his allies complete control of the government before opposition can mount. Project 2025 is built on these 4 pillars, which form the base of a plan to take over the U.S. government from within. This isn't just about policy, it's about seizing control of the country and reshaping it into a conservative stronghold. If Trump takes office in 2024, this plan will be set in motion immediately, and America will become unrecognizable by the time it is fully realized. Chapter 3, the attack on democracy. Project 2025 isn't just about reshaping policies, it's about tearing down the very structure of American democracy. It's a calculated attack on checks and balances, voting rights, and accountability. For instance, Project 2025 is dismantling democratic safeguards. Our government relies on checks and balances to ensure no one person or group has too much power. But Project 2025 aims to strip these protections away. Agencies like the FBI, Department of Justice, and Department of Education, designed to operate independently, will be placed under the control of Trump loyalists. Imagine an FBI that doesn't serve justice but targets political enemies. A DOJ that no longer protects civil rights but enforces a radical agenda. This is what happens when you remove the impartiality of these institutions. They become weapons of control, not guardians of democracy. Project 2025 is attacking voting rights. It goes after voting rights, making it harder for millions of Americans, especially in Democratic strongholds, to cast their ballots. Voter ID laws, fewer polling stations, and gerrymandering are just the beginning. They aim to roll back the Voting Rights Act, removing protections that prevent voter suppression. If these changes take effect, it could skew elections for decades, ensuring conservative dominance even when the majority of Americans oppose them. Project 2025 is destroying accountability. It plans to remove accountability from the government. By reinstating Schedule F, the president would be able to fire thousands of civil servants, people who are meant to serve the public without political bias. These non-partisan officials would be replaced with loyalists, turning federal agencies into extensions of the president's will. It's not just about running the government, it's about turning it into a tool for political vengeance, bypassing Congress, and pushing through radical changes with no opposition. Isn't just political maneuvering, it's an attack on the foundations of democracy. If Project 2025 succeeds, we'll see a government where dissent is silenced, voting is restricted, and justice is no longer blind. What happens when government agencies serve only one agenda? Corruption, authoritarianism, and the loss of freedoms that Americans have fought for generations to protect. Chapter 4, Can Democracy Survive? Project 2025 isn't just a political plan, it's a blueprint to seize control of the government and crush democratic principles. If it succeeds, the America we know will be gone. Key government agencies will be dismantled, voting rights will be gutted, and the courts will be packed with loyalists who will push an authoritarian agenda. And who's behind it? the Heritage Foundation and Trump's network of powerful allies. They've been planning this for years, and if it's allowed to go into action, it could take decades to undo the damage. But it's not too late. You can stop this. The most important action you can take: voting. The 2024 election is crucial. Staying informed, sharing this information, and supporting candidates who prioritize democracy are key steps in preventing this authoritarian takeover. Democracy is fragile. Without action, it can disappear quickly. We must stand up now before it's too late. And speaking of action, there's more to Trump's story. Want to know how Trump has managed to avoid doing time for his felonies? Check out our video that breaks down the shocking ways he's dodged justice. You won't believe what he's gotten away with.